Hello everyone, hope you all are doing fine. This is Gautam from Shailaja IS. In this video, we look into the recent Supreme Court judgment on your Hamsaanandini Nanduri case. She was a mother who had adopted a child but was not given paid maternity leave. Therefore, she fought a case in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has given certain verdict and given certain observations which are important for us from a societal perspective as well as from a governance perspective with regard to women empowerment and maternity leave framework itself. We'll try and understand first the historical evolution of the judgment itself. We'll then try and understand what has been India's maternity leave framework and how does it compare with the other countries. And finally, we'll try and see what more reforms are required in the coming days. Right. See, first and foremost thing, we'll look at the maternity leave as a concept itself. Now, why a maternity leave or a paid maternity leave is required? Because first thing, that's the biological function which only a mother understands the gravity of it. And if an organization as a institution is not supportive of her maternity, it becomes challenging for her to again come back and pursue the career path. Okay, because there's going to be loss of pay, and she might have to choose between her baby versus her career. So to avoid this conflict and to provide a more conducive environment for women to balance these activities without compromising on her career objective, paid maternity leave as a concept originated, whereby if a woman is getting pregnant and delivering a baby, certain countries are providing certain weeks of paid leave. It ranges from 12 weeks to 18 weeks. And India in 2017, through Maternity Benefits Amendment Act, increased this paid maternity leave from 12 weeks to 26 weeks, close to 6 months. So if there is an employee who is working in maybe Tata software services, Tata consultancy services, or an employee who was working in Airtel or Jio or any other established companies, formal sector enterprises, then if an employee gets pregnant, he or she cannot be removed. She has to be given paid leave for 6 months so that she deals with her child rearing activities, and so that when she comes back, she joins the normal career pathway that she has undertaken. Right? So that also enables women to pursue both personal as well as the professional pathways. Right? And this was considered as one of the most progressive legislations across the world. 26 weeks, we are not having such kind of a progressive view, not even in your United States of America, right? In European countries, obviously, we are having much more progressive legislations. In Canada, we see a much more progressive legislation. I myself, in a sense, one of my friend who's staying in Canada, he had recently come to visit me, and I was pleasantly surprised to see or hear from him that there is a shared parental leave. In a sense, cumulatively, they have been given 1 year of a paid leave, and that 1 year can be utilized by either one of, cumulatively. She can take 9 months, he can take 3 months, up to 3 months or 4 months. So that was something which was unique, is what I felt, and those my friend is effectively utilizing it. He is going on, he's taking care of his child, and he's going on for trips and all. So that provides time for your family as well. We are not blindly in a competitive mind chasing certain professional aspects. We are able to have a better quality of life, whereby you are giving some quality time with your child and with your family, and that is being enabled at a policy level itself. at an institutional level itself. Right? Contrast that with India. Still, we are seeing some progress being made. Okay. Right. Now, what was this case all about? The case was that maternity benefit leave is not any workplace benefit. It is not some at the mercy of a workplace provider or employer. No. It is a basic human right. That distinction has been explicitly mentioned in this judgment itself. Second thing, it said that earlier, what used to happen if a woman is adopting a child, she was given paid leave of 12 weeks only if the adopted child is less than 3 months. If the adopted child is more than 3 months, she was denied this 12 weeks paid leave. And it is this particular provision which was challenged by Hamsaanandini Nanduri in Supreme Court. She said that the adoption procedures itself takes 3 months. So by the time I get the approval and adopt a baby, that baby would have been more than 3 months, and I am denied the maternity benefit leave because the law says that I will not be eligible for an adopted mother whose child is more than 3 months. So that provision has now been struck down. The Supreme Court has clearly stated, even for an adopted mother, if the child is less than 3 months or more than 3 months, it will not matter. She will be given paid leave of up to 12 weeks. So that recognition has been clearly made. Second thing, the judgment has said that adoption is a reproductive autonomy. Adoption is a reproductive autonomy. Just like our normal parent would have their child and enjoy their parenthood, likewise, adoption is also a part of reproductive autonomy. Okay, and adoption is treated at the same level as your biological parenthood. So there is absolutely no distinction between a normal biological child and parent family bonding versus adopted parents and that child's bonding. There is no distinction to be made. They said that clearly, there is given some wonderful statement by Supreme Court. Family is defined by bonds and not by biology. Such a powerful statement. That is why they are saying that adoption is same as your biological parenthood. And family is not defined by biology, but it is defined by the bonds that we have, right? So they are putting the adopted mothers on a same pedestal as a biological mother and giving her the same benefits. And your Supreme Court has clearly urged the government to make provisions for paternity leave. For in the sense, man should also be given paternity leave for certain weeks so that he shares the burden with his wife about the child rearing and child upbringing part of it. Otherwise, it will be considered as the sole burden of a mother to take care of a child. If a father is given paternity leave, for example, Virat Kohli took a paternity leave of 2 months so that he spends his time with his first child. Right? So that was a progressive step in itself. We have Mark Zuckerberg, who's the head of your Meta on Facebook. He had taken paternity leave so as to spend some quality time with the kid and the family and share the burden of child rearing with his wife. So the Supreme Court in this judgment has clearly urged that the government make measures for paternity leave. Right? So let us look into the present India's position with regard to maternity benefit, and especially from a gaps point of view. First and foremost thing, as I told you, we're having one of the most progressive legislations in the world, whereby your Maternity Benefit Act of 2017 provides for 26 weeks of paid maternity leave for a woman. However, it is applicable only for your formal sector, which is having 10 or more employees. And 90% of the female workforce are in your informal sector. They are not considered as employees. They are considered as contractors. Okay, for example, garments industry, although there are hundreds of people who are working, but they are not considered as employees or payrolls. They are considered as contract workers. Therefore, they are denied all these maternity benefits. Right? So 90% of our India's female workforce is in informal workforce where this policy is not even applicable. They don't even know that such a policy exists. Take for example, housemaid. They are coming under your informal sector, right? Your domestic help is coming under informal sector. Your construction workers are coming under your informal sector. Okay, and if they get, if they are having a baby, do you think an employer is going to pay them 6 months of leave? They might pay them some extra money so as to take care of the child. Do you think they'll be paying them for 6 months? No. Informal sector is not coming under the ambit of your of all these legislations and policies. Another important factor is the gig economy. It is estimated to grow to around 2.5 crore people by 2030, and most of them are denied of all these benefits. For example, now we are having something called as urban clap, or I think the housemaid in 10 minutes. That facility is still not there in Bangalore, but it is there in cities like Mumbai, or this beauty parlor, all those sectors which are largely female workforce dominated. Do you think these gig workers are given adequate social security benefits? No. And since the sector is poised to grow in the coming years, we need to take certain measures whereby these policies, even though they are considered progressive, at least they should be applicable and implemented at a much more ground level, at a much more larger level, right? And obviously, there is an observation that has been made by the Nobel Prize winner, Claudia Goldin. She says that women's career path is going to get a sharpest impact at the birth of the first child. So she says that a woman is not able to progress at an equal pace in the career alongside men because of this pregnancy, because of the birth of the first child where it takes a dip. And she says that we need to create structures in such a manner whereby when she comes back to the work, she is put on the same pedestal as a male counterpart. Okay, so this biological inevitability should not be used as a factor to demote a woman or to resist women employees. She says that the Nobel Prize winning laureate says that structures need to be put in place whereby a woman's career path is not impacted to a great extent because of a role of a mother, right? So, and that is equally applicable to India. For India, what is more important is that informal sector, right? So, some of the best practices which we see, Sweden offers 480 days of shared parental leave split between both the parents. Similar to what I told you in case of Canada. Okay. In your Germany, there is 14 weeks of paid leave. In India, there is 26 weeks of paid leave. In Germany, it is 14 weeks, around 3 months. And there is 12 months of shared parental allowance. In the sense, they'll give them some sort of an allowance, right? Iceland requires fathers to take 3 months independently the paternity leave. So they have to compulsorily take 3 months leave in order to take care of the child, in order to share the burden of child rearing of the mother, right? So what is the next steps that is required? See, correct. The 2017 Act is correct. The Supreme Court judgments is correct. Equating adopted parenthood with biological parenthood is correct. Defining family not by biology but by bonds is correct. But all these are at a policy level. Where we are lagging behind is at an implementation level, primarily because 90% of the female workforce are in informal sector. So we need to make sure that there's a faster pace of formalization of sectors so that these benefits reach the intended people at a much more mass scale. That's the first thing. Second thing, we need to make sure that paternity leave is given statutory recognition. We need to push fathers also to share the role of child rearing. Only then mothers or women will be able to bounce back and focus on their career paths, will be able to come out of this societal boundary of a mother and a caretaker. Okay, she is needs to have her independent own identity outside that of being a mother. And in that pursuit, we have to push men to share the role of parenting so that she is given that space to pursue her own ambitions. Right? So we need to, I think in the coming days, they will do it. The paternity leave is going to become reality sooner or later. Okay, at least by 2047, I'm sure that they are going to make paternity leave as something normal. Right now, if you tell to my father that such kind of paternity leaves again, he might be finding it difficult to digest it. Nowadays, we are at least, or the coming generation of the Gen Z generations, are able to understand the importance of it. And in the next generation, they'll feel it is normal. That should be there. Right? So that progress is going to eventually and inevitably going to happen. And most probably, like the Nobel Prize winner pointed out, we need to make sure that the policies are designed in such a manner that a woman, after a pregnancy break, when she joins back into our company, our career progression is not impacted. Right? So those kinds of policy measures need to be put in place, and we need to focus more on providing incentives for the informal sector to identify and push this. And greater awareness about the necessity of shared parenting needs to be made at a family level, at an educational level itself. Right? So that was a small topic which I wanted to discuss, because you need to be aware about this. It becomes important for you. An entire question may not be asked in your actual paper about a Maternity Benefit Act, but you can use it as an example in a broader topic of women empowerment or the role of men in upbringing a child. The feminization of child rearing is both a cause and consequence of gender inequality in India's workforce. Such a good statement. Right? Critically examine the statement in India's context and suggest reform for a gender-neutral parental leave framework. Okay, so they're saying that, like, how the child rearing exclusively putting it under the domain of women now. Why? What are the implications of it, or what are the causes of it, and what measures needs to be taken in order to come out of this? Right. So that is the question. Try to attempt it in your own words. Even if you are getting it wrong, that's okay, and you can send it to me to get a feedback and evaluation. Right. This is my mobile number and WhatsApp number. You can either Telegram me or WhatsApp me, or you can email to my email address. All the very best, and thank you.